Hi, thank you for joining me today on In Conversation with Zoe, where we live, love, and learn. That's all we do here. And learning and loving, leaving encompasses every value that I stand for, which is God, goals, growth, and of course, gracefulness. I'm Zoe, your host, and today we are going professional. I was sharing with you how you can have an amazing presentation. Presentation comes in different ways. It could be a documented presentation, it could be a spoken presentation. Today, however, I'm focusing on the spoken presentation. Okay, so what we call a pitch, whether it's a business pitch, whether it's an educational pitch, an academic one, these are 5 rules and tips that I'll be sharing with you today that I know will help you hit good marks and get some excellent remarks from your tutors, your panel, whoever is a respondent or is part of the meeting. They will be saying, that girl, that guy knows what he's doing, so let's get him on board. Let's sign this contract quickly. Well, here's my number one. My black book is here again. Number 1, memorize. So you've gone through the rigorous action and commitment of writing and documenting your pitch. You don't not want it to go all to waste, do you? You need to memorize. Memorizing. What does it mean to memorize? It's to retain information. My addition here is in bits that will help you remember the narrative, the highlights of your point. Okay, so in this context, I'm using that definition, which is mine, by the way. So pick out the key points of your presentation and attach it to a story, attach it to a reality, attach it to an experience, a scene, and then visualize it, retain it, and then when you're speaking, make sure to touch up on the key points. Could be in a dramatic fashion, or it could just be in an academic straight jacket, fashion. But you must memorize something. You cannot just go there and be looking through your note. It shows you're not ready, and it shows that you're not the best. I'm sorry. You could have an excellent presentation by holding a script and all of that, but it does not show that you have gone the extra mile to commit more, to let your passion show. It doesn't show passion. It doesn't show that you're committed as Mr. A or B could be. So you want to be that Mr. A or B that has retained some information. And, when you're speaking, people are like, where is it coming from? Wow, she's so intelligent. He's so brilliant. He's the man for the job. Imagine if your projector goes to fail. Imagine if your script just, something happens. It's happened to me in the past. So it's been a growth process for me, becoming a communications advisor or expert, as you may. I have had to have some fails to learn on the job. So that's why I'm sharing with you. Look great. So you need to look great, honey. I don't know how else to say this, but the way you look gives you the confidence that you need. The way you look gives you the confidence that you need. And if you do not look great, you will have yourself to blame. You've heard this, I'm sure. Dress the way you want to be addressed. So this is a good time to put that to practice. Dress the way you want to be perceived. Packaging is 50% of your presentation. And by packaging, I mean the aesthetics of the work and documented work you have put in and you're putting out now. And also the 25% that makes up that 50 of the packaging is the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you are speaking to these people. What do they see before you open your mouth? Do they see someone whose hair is not tidy, who is not, your posture is not, reflecting and speaking volumes of confidence and calmness. You know what I mean? Body language. How is my body language as I speak to these people? Is my body language so imagine you being in front of a board of professors. I mean, it works for some people. You think that you're being the friendliest person in the room, the chitty chattiest person, the coolest. Now, these points don't go singularly. It is a force. It's a cohort, okay? You cannot separate one from the other to have an amazing presentation. Your body language. Are you slouching? Are you looking down? Are you looking confused, looking like you're trying to grapple on your points? Is that what you're doing? You need to do better. If that's what you're doing, you need to make eye contacts. You need to chin up, spread your shoulders, stand confident, look confident, gesticulate. Gesticulation is the biggest part of body language for presentations and pitching. And I've learned that you have to I'm not saying, being a broadcaster, I started out with over gesticulating, but I have learned to tone it down. You have to let it match your words, let it not be too much. But gesticulation is a cheat way to act and look confident. So I will not deceive you by saying, just sit pretty and just talk. You can do that if that's where your confidence level is. That's super, but it takes years to get there. So gesticulate, but don't overdo it. This is it's an intermediate class, so for beginners and intermediates. Experts don't need to gesticulate, but they would advise you still to gesticulate a little, because it just builds a graphical representation in the minds of your viewers, of the audience. Okay. Your language. When presenting, do not use terms like so, you know what I mean? No, don't do that. I say this because this is an informal setting. I say, but when you are presenting in a professional setting or an academic setting, I would not advise you to use, another language you need to avoid is that kind of stuff. Stuff like, what's stuff? Stuff is a very it's a very social term these days. Stuff is a word, of course, we can all use it, but it's very mainstream, and I don't think that's the depending on the presentation you're having, though, that might just be what you need. So your language, you need to trim your language to be at the same level with your audience, or with where you're sending this presentation to. Okay, so don't just present because I'm saying this is it. This is not a straitjacket rule. It's not casting stone. You have to learn of the audience. Where is this presentation going to? Ask those questions before you pick out the points that really fit into that project, okay, or that journey, that message you're sending the presentation to. So your language, avoid language like stuff, you know what I mean? Avoid terms like I'm sorry, this kind of insecure terms. They just project your insecurities, and you do not want to be projecting insecurities at this time. You've put in so much work, too good a job for you to not belittle it by doing, that kind of stuff. Or you start doing like something is wrong with you. No, I know we all have insecurities, but you have to rein it in. If you go through my videos back last year, I gave a talk on how to cheat ways to hide your insecurities when you're speaking in public. You need to refer to that video before maybe you watch this one, okay? And then your communication skills. That is the final one. How well is your communication skills? Apart from language, the way you use your words. Use words that, okay, so this is my rule for communication. You either go big or you go personable, whether with your body language or with your communication. Now, communication, it's an embodiment of language and body language and style and everything, even your looks. That's why I'm all about the way you present yourself, the way you communicate. So be very mindful of what you are communicating, the words you are using. Let there be a beginning, a greeting. Let there be an introduction part of the greeting in your pitching, in your presentation, and let there be a background story or a background feel that has led to this presentation. What is your presentation resting on? So you want to create a research on a vaccine that will cure or prevent the coronavirus. How do you say it? You have to introduce yourself. What made you? The reason why you are doing this should be the background. That is the middle. And it's a lead from your introduction, and then you go to so here's how I put it. When presenting, use these 6 it's a communication rule. What, who, why, how, where, and when. All this will definitely show a complete and a confident presenter and presentation, whether documented or spoken word. All right, guys, so there you go. Those are my 5 tips to having an amazing presentation. By the way, I had an amazing presentation yesterday. I was in a meeting, and one of the board members, you know, the audience was like, that was an amazing presentation, Zoe. And the other said, are you a broadcaster? I was like, yes, ma'am, I am a broadcaster. Why didn't you say that? You were so eloquent. Well, all these things are what I've had to look, grapple, put here, do this, do that, do this, to become what I am, and I'm still a work in progress. So put these things together and let me hear your success stories. By the way, you can chat with me on Instagram at Zoe Chinaka, and go down to the comment section and share with me, perhaps you want me to talk about something, a concern. Let's hear it, okay? I will look it up and do my best to talk on it. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye-bye now.